will next have Alanna Schermerhorn, Mason's sister.
Did you have any questions, Mr. Allen?
Not about him, no.
All right, if I forget, you just speak up if you have any questions.
Okay, I decide you need to change it. That's okay. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and speak into the microphone and introduce yourself to the court.
My name's Alanna Schermerhorn Wallace.
And can you tell the court what you would like him to know in the sentencing of the state of Georgia versus Colt Gray?
Before I talk about what was taken from me, I want to talk about who Mason was. To the court, he may be known as one of the victims of September 4th, but to me, he was my little brother. Out of all my siblings, Mason and I were the closest in age, and because of that, I felt that we shared a bond unlike any other. We grew up together, we understood each other in ways that's hard to explain. He wasn't just my brother, but he's one of my best friends. Some of my favorite memories are simple ones. We spent countless hours playing video games together, whether it was Roblox, Minecraft, Genshin Impact, or whatever game we were obsessed with at the time. We always found a way to have fun together. If one of us couldn't beat a level, complete a quest, or figure something out, the other would jump in and help. We celebrated each other's victories, laughed at our mistakes, and never hesitated to help each other out. Looking back now, I realize the ordinary moments became some of the most meaningful moments I have. Mason had one of the brightest souls I've ever known. He saw the good in people, even when they couldn't see it in themselves. He coached kindness over anger. He believed people deserve second chances, even the people who bullied him. They eventually became his friends because that's just who Mason was. He didn't hold on to hate. He had a way of bringing out the good in others. He never judged people for their disabilities, the way they looked, where they came from, or anything that made them different. He accepted everyone exactly how they were. He treated everyone with the same kindness and respect because that's how he lived. Even during difficult times, Mason seemed to find some light. He had a way of making people smile, making situations feel less heavy, and reminding people around him that things would be okay. That is the person who's taken from us on that day. Not just the name in the courtroom, not just another victim in a headline, a little brother, a best friend, a great, compassionate, and genuinely good person who deserved the chance to keep growing into the incredible man he would have been today. September 4th, 2024 started like any other Wednesday. I actually woke up a little later than usual that morning. Mason and I went to different high schools, so by the time I got out of bed, he had already left for school. I never got to see him that morning or say goodbye like I normally did, which didn't seem like a big deal at the time. Around 10:52 that morning, everything changed. I was a student helper in one of the band classes helping a group of freshmen in a separate practice room when I got a text from my mom saying, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I didn't understand what she meant at the moment, so I ignored it, and I kept helping the students. And then, not even a minute later, someone came into the room and said we were going into lockdown. Rumors started spreading almost immediately. Students were shouting things out that they saw online, shooting at Apalachee. There were 5 shooters. Nobody knew what was true, what wasn't. We didn't know how serious it was. We didn't know if the danger was over. We didn't know if anyone had been hurt. We just waited. As the minutes passed, several of the freshmen came up to me because they were scared. They'd heard the attack mainly involved freshmen, and they were worried about their friends at Apalachee. I don't remember every conversation, but I remember one perfectly. One of the students looked at me, and he said that he was scared for his friends. I didn't know students and teachers. He said he was scared for his friends. Trying to confront him, I told him the chances of anyone in this room being directly affected are slim to none. And I believed it when I said it. At that point, I didn't know there were confirmed deaths. I didn't know students and teachers had been shot. I didn't know people were fighting for their lives in hospitals, also trying to calm a frightened freshman who was terrified about people who he cared about. Around that same time, my mom texted me again, "I can't get a hold of your brother on the phone." Even then, I wasn't worried. I told myself Mason probably left his phone in the classroom, in his book bag. I never imagined there would be another reason that he wasn't answering. As the day went on, the room became quieter. The panic settled into silence as people played games while we waited to go home. During this time, my phone never stopped vibrating. Family members, friends, coworkers, everyone kept asking me the same question: has anyone found Mason? But no one could give an answer. At that point, someone from my work group chat sent a video of students being evacuated from Apalachee. And in the background, there's a body covered in the hallway that I later found out was Mason. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just another school lockdown. This was real, and I wanted nothing more to go home. Around 3:13 p.m., 2 minutes before the bell rang, I opened social media just to pass the time while I waited to be dismissed. Instead, I saw my sister's post saying that Mason did not make it out of the school alive that day. September 4th was not just the day I lost my brother. It was the day I lost the life that I knew before. It was the day my sense of safety, my ability to see the world the same, and the future I imagined with Mason in it were taken from me. The hardest part is that the world kept moving after that day. People went back to school. People went back to work. People continued their normal lives, but my family didn't get to. We didn't get to learn how to live in a world where Mason no longer existed. This experience has changed the way that I have seen safety. Before September 4th, I believed that something like this could never happen to me or someone I loved. School is where I went to learn, see friends, and make memories, but then it happened to Mason. Now every time I walk into a school building, a thought immediately crosses my mind. If it can happen to my brother, then why can't it happen to me? The question is something I never had to ask myself before September 4th. I find myself looking for exits when I enter buildings. I pay attention to the people around me. If someone is walking behind me in a hallway or a staircase, I feel myself wanting to move away or get somewhere safer. Loud noises, unexpected sounds, and certain situations can bring me back to the fear and uncertainty of that day. It's not because I think every place is dangerous. It's because I know that the place where I once felt the safest was the place where I lost my brother. I used to walk into school believing I would leave the same way I came in. Now part of me is always wondering if I will. The impact of this day that not only changed the way I felt when I walked into school building, it also changed the way I was able to function as a student. After losing Mason, I was trying to balance two realities at the same time. I was expected to be a full-time student in college, completing assignments and preparing for my future while also trying to grieve and process everything that had happened. During this time, I had to miss a lot of school because of court proceedings and everything that came with seeking justice for Mason. I wasn't missing classes because I didn't care about my education. I was missing them because I was dealing with something no student should ever have to experience. And what hurt was that I had to provide proof of what happened in order for my situation to be understood. I had to provide my brother's death certificate to my school for my absences to be excused. Having to prove my grief was another painful reminder of what happened. I wasn't asking for special treatment. I was asking for understanding. Being in court for college trial wasn't just difficult because I had to hear what happened, but it was also difficult because I saw things I shouldn't have. Throughout the case, I was exposed to multiple photographs, evidence, and video from the shooting. The close-ups of the bodies, the autopsy reports, and even the video of my brother's final moments. This isn't something that I can just forget. I replayed the video in my head all the time. I replay the video in my head all the time. The way you shot my brother twice. You saw him scared and running. And then you proceeded to shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. You saw how scared he was. You saw how he was trying to run. But all you cared about was murdering innocent people. All you cared about was murdering innocent people because you want to be like your twisted-minded idol. But of course, the twisted-minded stuff doesn't end there. Because of the people on social media purposely finding my accounts, my videos talking about my brother, saying that he should have dodged the bullet or that he deserved what happened to him. I want you to understand something. What you did not end on September 4th, 2024. You may have pulled the trigger that day, but the pain you have caused has continued every single day since. You didn't just take my little brother from me. You took away him from my parents, my siblings, his classmates, his teachers, and everyone who loved him. You took away a future that Mason deserved to have, and I'm angry that you did that. I'm angry that I had to sit in the classroom comforting scared freshmen while not knowing you had already ended my brother's life. I'm angry that I had to walk into my own home knowing Mason would never walk through that door again. I'm angry that I had to see evidence from the worst day of my life and carry memories that nobody should ever have. I'm angry because none of this should ever happen. But I'm also angry at how cowardly you are. You sat there and you planned everything that you were going to do that day. You sat there and wrote down the amount of fatalities you wanted. You made sure that you packed everything that morning so you'd be ready. And then you sat in that stall preparing for what you were about to do. Instead of going through with this plan, Instead of going through with this plan, I honestly think he should have killed himself. Instead of killing 4 people and injuring others, he should have taken himself out. Instead of coming up with this whole elaborate plan, he should have made a plan to off himself instead. I'm not saying this just because he took Mason from me. I'm saying this because if he had this sick and evil thought to be like that other worthless school shooter and inflict pain on a whole community, he doesn't deserve to be here. You had time before you left school that morning to change your mind. You had time in your first period class to change your mind. You had time while you were in that bathroom to change your mind, but you didn't. Instead, you went through with your plan. And not only that, but as soon as you were caught, you surrendered. You can willingly shoot all these people. It didn't feel an ounce of remorse, but as soon as a gun is pointed towards you, you get scared because you're the definition of a coward. You didn't feel remorse after shooting into that classroom. You didn't feel remorse after you shot those teachers, and you definitely didn't feel remorse after you shot my brother in the head. You didn't feel remorse after you watched my brother collapse and bleed out in front of you. He should have killed himself. Because him being gone would have saved this whole community from experiencing the unimaginable, and that maybe his life would have actually meant something. You will always be remembered as a coward, a psychopath, a freak, because of what you decided to do. But the victims, Christina Irmi, Richard Aspinwall, Christian Angulo, and Mason Schermerhorn, will be remembered because of the people they were. They will be remembered because of their kindness and positivity they added to the world. They deserve to be here today. Mason deserves to be here today. Mason was kind when he didn't have to be. He saw the good in people when others didn't. He turned people who hurt him into friends. He never judged anyone for how they looked, what challenges they faced, or what made them different. You took away someone who chose kindness every day. You took away someone who still had so much life ahead of him. You took away the chance for me to see who my little brother would become. And that is something I can never get back. You will soon face the consequences of what you did, but my family will spend the rest of our lives facing the consequences of what you took from us. The difference is that you made a choice that day, but we did not choose this.
Mr. Allen, do you have any questions?
No. Judge Mulvey,
Yes.